Cracks in brick, cracks in block, sticking windows or doors. Settling or sinking foundation, it's a fact. Foundation problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS.
It's the morning edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. This is for Monday, the 26th of September. I'm James Spann. Obviously, the focus of this discussion will be on Hurricane Ian in the Caribbean. But quite frankly, for Alabama, the weather looks awfully quiet here for a while. Let's walk you through everything. A lot to talk about, obviously, this morning. This is the upper air look, and we've got a ridge in the west and a downstream trough in the east. And keep in mind, as you look at the tropical system, you've got to look at the upper air pattern. That's kind of determining where this thing ultimately goes. And all of the players involved in Ian are now in the North American upper air networks. So modeling is much more consistent, and the confidence in the track is considerably higher now. There's the peak at the radar early this morning. We have a little shower. It's north of Mobile, and that's about it. And really, most of Alabama is going to be dry this week, this weekend, and through much of next week. It's a very dry pattern where we are. Feels pretty good this morning. We've got some 50s for North Alabama, Cullman at 55. Mobile a bit warmer at 74, but a pretty good surge of cool air is going to drop in here tomorrow. So in terms of watches, we have a hurricane watch now for the west coast of Florida. This includes Tampa Bay and points south. We've got tropical storm warnings in effect for the Keys. And really, that's the main action across the country. Otherwise, it is very, very quiet. And in terms of severe weather, again, the main focus is going to be on South Florida. A marginal risk for the Florida Keys later today and tonight. A risk of severe storms and a few tornadoes over the southern half of the peninsula tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then on day 3, which is Wednesday, we have a risk of isolated tornadoes over much of the Florida peninsula. Not the panhandle, but the peninsula. And again, this is the result of Ian. And of course, Ian's going to drop a lot of rain on the peninsula. This is the rain for the next 7 days coming from NOAA's WPC, the Weather Prediction Center. And again, for Alabama, you see that rain there. Quite frankly, they'll probably take that out as the track is adjusted eastward. The big rains will be over the Florida peninsula. Again, not the panhandle, the peninsula. Places like Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Daytona Beach, Melbourne. Spots down there could see 10 inches of rain from Ian. And then that heavy rain extends up the South Atlantic coast, the coast of the Carolinas. So in terms of the big picture with the tropics, really, Ian's the game here. Gaston is post-tropical. It's off the board. It's fizzled. That little disturbance in the middle of the Atlantic has a medium chance of developing, but strong upper end winds will take over, and that probably will fizzle if it does develop soon. So really, the only game out there is Ian. So here's a look at the infrared satellite loop early this morning. Not quite got the sun up over the system. This update live at about 5:26. The top winds are currently at 75 miles an hour. It is now a hurricane. The center is well defined, and it's currently about 90 miles southwest of Grand Cayman, or about 300 miles southeast of the western tip of Cuba. And you can see the organization is really getting better, and this should ramp up very quickly. It should go through an RI phase, rapid intensification. So this is the latest track coming from the Hurricane Center on their 5 a.m. Eastern Time update. And you can see this will be coming across the western tip of Cuba late tonight, probably as a major hurricane, Category 3. That is rapid intensification. And from there, the system, and again, the track has been nudged eastward again. And again, this will likely be a major hurricane a little west of Tampa Bay Wednesday night, really close to Tampa Bay. And remember, the bad side is the east side. The east is the beast. And so that puts the peninsula on that bad side. And again, hurricane watch is in effect for the areas in pink there. That would include Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Bradenton. And hurricane conditions are likely there by Wednesday night. And then the landfall will be around Cedar Key Thursday night. Notice how the system is slowing down, and it should weaken as it approaches the coast because of strong winds aloft out of the southwest, shear that will disrupt the core of the hurricane. And then from there, the system should be a tropical storm inland, and really not too far from Macon, Georgia by Friday night. But remember, as you look at these lines, the big impact is along and east of the center. The panhandle on the good west side, offshore flow. Panama City Beach, Destin, Gulf Shores. For a lot of those central Gulf Coast cities like that, they'll see no rain at all, a good breeze out of the north. There might be a little rain over to Panama City, Indian Pass, Apalachicola. It'll be breezy, of course, but again, the big impact over the peninsula, not the panhandle. Modeling, this is the ATCF set, and again, the agreement is good now, and that we've got all the players on the board within the observation network over North America. This is the probabilistic outlook coming off the European. This is the probability of tropical storm conditions. And I do want to say, even though the panhandle's on the good side, if you're going down there, which is fine, I wouldn't hesitate to go. But there will be a high rip current danger on the central Gulf Coast beginning Wednesday through Friday. So you'll see double red flags flying there. And again, that's obviously because of Ian, and that's the main impact on our Gulf Coast, the Alabama Gulf Coast, the Northwest Florida Gulf Coast. It's the rip current danger. This is the intensity guidance coming off the ATCF set, and again, you can see how it begins to weaken by the time of landfall with those stronger winds aloft. But remember, as that happens, the wind field will be expanding, and it's going to slow down. And a Category 1 that's moving slowly on that east side can still be pretty nasty. So let's go through the GFS, and this is deterministic model data. And we typically don't like to look this in a tropical situation, but in this case, confidence is getting high. So this is today at 4 o'clock, the GFS. This is the 06Z run. And you can see the big trough over the east and Ian down to the south. And again, in Alabama, going to be a very nice day today. The sky will be sunny, and we're expecting a high today in the low 80s in most spots. This is tomorrow. A cooler air mass drops in. We'll start the day in the 40s in a few spots tomorrow morning. It'll be the coolest morning so far this season. The high will be in the upper 70s. Again, you can see Ian coming in. We'll go to day 3, which is Wednesday. Again, in Alabama, just beautiful, sunny with highs in the upper 70s. And again, you can see Ian lurking just west-southwest of Tampa Bay. And you can see the problem. We'll go to Thursday, and this thing just doesn't move a lot. It's still kind of hanging out there. And again, this will prolong potential hurricane conditions on that west coast of Florida. And then this is Friday. The GFS has always been an outlier to the east here. It's not done well with this. The Hurricane Center track is farther east, and I think that's the right thing here. But if by chance it's this far west, there could be some rain at Panama City. There could be some rain at Dothan. But again, the big impact, it's on the east side of the circulation center. And then we'll go to day 6, which is Saturday. And again, the system is in over Georgia. And notice Alabama is just mostly dry. The rain shield with the feature will be over Georgia and the Carolinas. And accordingly, the chance of rain in Alabama looks awfully small. And remember, the GFS is an outlier to the west. So it's race weekend at Talladega. And again, I've seen these people saying it's going to be a total washout. Well, no, it's not. It might not rain a drop. But again, there could be some rain over the far eastern part of the state on Saturday. And then Sunday, the system kicks out across the Carolinas. Sunday should be a beautiful day, sunny with a high close to 80. And a week from today, this is Monday, the 3rd of October, a northerly flow aloft, and again, just great weather. So really for Alabama, a lot of you will not have a drop of rain for the next 7 days and probably beyond that. In fact, we'll go out 10 days. This is Wednesday of next week, and you can see a ridge building, and again, we are just dry. This is the rain for Birmingham coming off the European ensemble. The mean is a little under 1 inch, and quite frankly, I don't even think we see that much. And keep in mind, September and October can be very, very dry here, unless a tropical system comes into play, and it looks like the rain with Ian will stay off to the east. Temperatures look good. Highs dropping in the low 70s by Friday. We'll have a northerly flow on the dry west side of Ian. And again, many spots could see some 40s this week. And then highs around 80 early next week, but just very, very pleasant here. In the latest 8 to 14-day guidance in the house, this is for October 3rd through the 9th, showing temperatures may be a little above average. So one more time, if you're just joining us here, for those that are new here, I do these twice a day. We're live on YouTube and Facebook this morning. I'm doing this at 5:30 on Monday morning, but this is Ian, now a hurricane. and rapid intensification is likely, and this will likely be a major hurricane by the time it comes over the western tip of Cuba late tonight, after midnight. Of course, hurricane warnings in effect there for the western tip of Cuba, and this will likely stay a major hurricane. By definition, you see the M on those dots, that's Category 3 or higher. It will likely stay a major hurricane as it passes just west of Tampa Bay Wednesday night, and then landfall around Cedar Key Thursday night as a weakening hurricane. Jacksonville could see tropical storm conditions maybe Friday, but the system weakens and it winds up near Macon, Georgia, Friday night. And again, there's just a good chance that the rain shield with this feature will be staying east of Alabama. This is what it would look like on Saturday, according to the GFS. And again, if you're in the far, far eastern side of the state, there could be some rain. And of course, understand things could change. We all know that. But the confidence in the whole situation is much higher now, in that all of the upper air features involved in the steering of this, they're within the North American Upper Air Network, which is gives credibility to what we have on the table now. So I don't think we'll see any major changes. There could be some changes, but probably not major. So that's going to do it for the morning weather briefing video. We'll be back here this afternoon about 2:15 or 2:30. And, of course, we'll have notes on the blog, AlabamaWX.com. And if you're new here, I've been doing this a gazillion years, and we're straight shooters here. We don't, our underwear doesn't flap up and down our legs, and the veins don't come out in our neck, and the red sirens don't go off here when there's a hurricane. You just need logical, sensible information that you can use to take the appropriate course of action, and that's what we do here. Notes on the blog, AlabamaWX.com, and if you can, hey, join us this evening on ABC 3340 News in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Sinking driveway? Call Alabama Professional Services. Settling patio? Call APS. Uneven pool deck? Call APS. Collapsing stoop? Call APS. Cracking sidewalk? That's right. Call APS. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS. Call Alabama Professional Services today.